Hello and welcome back to our tutorial series on how to use GreenScenario. In this episode, we're going to have a closer look at the Green Factor Score assessment. The module is turned on as all the other KPIs. Under the engine component, there is a checkbox over here to activate the Green Factor Score. But what's happening under the hood is that GreenScenario is actually opening a Green Factor spreadsheet that has been published by the city of Helsinki and developed as part of a EU collaboration project. And there's a few tabs over here in this Green Factor tool. First, there's some information about the site. So we're defining the land use, what are the drainage system types, and so on and so forth. What is the site area? And then depending on the input over here, so if we were to, for example, change the land use type to commercial, you can see that the target level for our Green Factor assessment score changes accordingly. And then the next step in the Green Factor assessment would be to go to the actual spreadsheet. And then what would be the typical workflow would be for any designer to go through the column F over here and type in the inputs for particular types of objects that will be present in the model. So for example, over here we'll be saying how many trees do we have of preserved type that are larger than 10 meters in diameter. Here we'll be specifying how many new planted trees are there in the drawing, what are the kinds of pavements, and so on and so forth. And then once this all has been filled out, you would move to the results table, and then you would see the scores presented to you in this one sheet that creates an entire overview of your design. And then if we look closer at the documentation on the website dedicated to the Helsinki Green Factor tool, we can find some materials. One of them is the user manual for the Excel-based tool, and you can have a closer look at how to operate this, and then there's all these categories are explained how the calculations are being performed. And if you're interested in more background information behind it, there's also a 60-page long PDF document that explains the whole methodology behind it and where did the data come from, what is the historical development of this particular assessment matrix. But what we have done with GreenScenario is we have automated this entire process. And essentially what we're doing in the background is we're opening up this Excel table and we're populating both the limitations sheet as well as the Green Factor data spreadsheet. So if I close this over here, I'll show you which one, where did the information come from. So under the data component, green, and then we have the same drop downs over here. Which type of land use are we dealing with? And do we have enough distance between the groundwater table and the surface level? So these two inputs, they will help define the target score of our Green Factor. So if we were to change it to industrial, you can see that we're already hitting the max value over here, whereas our residential is 0.9 target value, so we're not maxing it out yet. And so this is where we would specify the input data, and the rest is taken automatically from the drawing and then populated into the Excel sheet. The Excel sheet calculates the results, and then we push it back to our online dashboard. In this built-in Rhino dashboard, we can only see this one score. But then if we were to hit the export button and then generate data for our online dashboard, which I'm doing right now, then two things are going to happen. First of all, we'll be able, let me switch to English over here. We have the same piece of information over here, so we can see that we have 0.55, but then there is also this Green Factor score additional tab, and here we have all the information from the Excel sheet, the results sheet presented to us over here. So we see this is the target value. These are all the individual components that we have used, and these are their individual contributions. And we can dig deeper into the stats over here, and then we can see exactly how many square meters of a certain type of component we have. So for example, over here we have 300 square meters worth of loan, whereas in the other one, well, it's also over here, but for example, here we have more permeable pavements, whereas here we only have impervious pavements. So this way we have a total overview of the Green Factor score, and also what's happening in the export folder where all these files are being stored. When you go into our projects and then our tutorial project that we're going through right now, we have two scenarios saved in separate folders. And again, like this export folder is going to be auto-generated for you the moment you hit the export button, and then the program is going to look at first of all at the name of your project, and it's going to call the folder like this, and it's going to look at where this file was saved, and it's going to generate this export folder for you, projects tutorial. And then because we only have two scenarios, we have two subfolders over here. When we open one of them, you can see that there is a dedicated Green Factor sheet that is corresponding to the scenario that has been generated for you as well. So you can open this, and then you will see that it's exactly the same Excel sheet that we looked at the beginning, with the table already pre-populated for you with all the information. And you also have the results sheet that shows you all the information that the original results sheet would have shown you as well. So if you need to hand this in to your clients, you can just essentially make sure that the scenarios are populated in a way that you would like to, hit the export button, and for every single scenario that you have present in this drawing, you would have generated these Excel sheets that correspond to them.